I actually think it is a strength to be a female in this case, and even directors, I think they sense it, and that's why they sometimes send us for certain things. Especially with like if women want to have like a vulnerable talk, I think sometimes they feel more comfortable with a female around them and listening to them.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the Unscripted Files. My name is Madeline Cunningham. I am a development producer in the unscripted industry, bringing you candid conversations with the minds behind your favorite form of entertainment. Today's guest has been behind the lens on shows like Are You the One for ABC, which is the virgin dating show, which we get really, really into, Top Chef Mexico, The Bachelor Germany, and many, many more. It was really cool to talk to her about her process, the important mentors she's had in her life over her career, and great to just dive in. I love seeing women behind the camera and love chatting with them. So this was really a cool conversation with Jessica Arzate. I hope you enjoy. Jessica Arzate, welcome to the podcast. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So excited to have you. You're on your first cup of coffee over on the West Coast. I'm on my afternoon coffee over here. What's your do you have a morning routine or anything?
Yeah, I honestly usually wake up early and go take a walk. I live really close to Griffith Park.
Okay, got it. So you're up, early bird gets the worm. I like that. I cannot relate, but I aspire. I like my whole life has been like be a morning person. So maybe I'll get there
Y-
someday.
Yeah.
I'm super excited to chat with you. So I found you because I was looking through credits of Are You My First, which is the Virgin dating show now out on ABC. And I saw that you're a camera op there. And then you've also worked on some other really cool reality shows in international formats. Top Chef Mexico, The German Bachelor, referred to as Der Bachelor, right?
Yeah.
And then Housewives Melbourne, as well as a ton of other credits. And I just, frankly, I love seeing women on the camera. Like it makes me so happy. So I'm super stoked to chat with you. What first drew you to cameras? Like what was the spark for you?
I think initially I wanted to like work in film. I didn't know exactly like there was a camera department. Like I assumed, but didn't really know. And then through like a cinematographer mentor I encountered, he kind of like explained that side part of the job. And I was just like, wow, I want to do that. That sounds like the most fun. So I think it was just like curiosity.
I love that. I mean, having mentors is so important. Has there been a lot of those as you've grown in your career, people who you've looked up to who have sort of given you a hand up and helped you navigate your career?
Yeah. Honestly, I think I've been lucky to, yes, encounter people who are very generous. I think especially honestly, cinematography department, camera department, it's something that passes on. Like there's no true secrets. You just have to like practice and do. So yeah, being lucky to have both male and female mentors along the career. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. Can you share a bit about you're formally trained in this, right? So can you talk to me a bit about your training, your education, like formal and sort of like informal hands-on, and how that foundation continues to influence your work now?
Yeah, so right out of high school, I took like a leap year. I went traveling and then I
We all
ended
should
up,
do that. Oh my gosh.
yeah, I recommend it. It was good. And then I ended up in Madrid taking and learning how to shoot on 16 millimeter film. It wasn't like formal cinematography training, but like they teach you how to load and expose the film. And then I went back to Mexico and I met again with one of my previous mentors and he took me on to like a project as a camera assistant. And he was the VP for Top Chef Mexico. So he brought me on to that
Awesome.
show. And then like I would say for like 5, 6 years, I went from acing to come up, like not really having a formal train, just like being on set. And in 2022, I did the AFI cinematography program here in LA. And that's yeah, I really like that master's program, and that's why I'm here in LA. Like, I stayed after AFI.
Oh,
Yeah.
amazing. And so Top Chef Mexico, I mean, what a way to have an entry into this particular industry. I mean, that's a high, like fast-paced competition show, a lot of cameras, a lot of
Yeah.
angles, a lot of choreography. What do you feel like was your biggest takeaway after you had that experience?
I think because I was kind of like new into like the whole set world, I just assumed like, oh, you just gotta be really fast and you just gotta do. I was an AC. Actually, I kind of like AC slash end up upping there because one came up. Like he couldn't come at the end every day, so I would like replace him. But I just think also like being new or like naive is just like, okay, sure, like they're doing it, I'm just gonna do it, and you just have to
Right.
like,
You don't know what you
uh,
don't know.
yeah, you don't know where. I think my biggest takeaway was just being like super organized. You know, like there's so like yeah, different cameras. Every up has their own thing. I remember just like being very like organized as an AC, and then everyone was super like kind too. Like, oh yeah, when I step up as up at the end, everyone was like, yeah, you can do it. You've been working really hard
Oh,
all
that's nice.
season. So I think that encouragement was just like um great to have. Like you're not afraid. I think it was lucky in that sense. Later on, I would say like I was more conscious of like what I was doing and a bit more afraid. But back then, this was like 2014, so like 10 more than 10 years ago. Yeah.
Well, that youthful confidence can come in handy. What do you think when you step on a set, especially as a young person trying to sort of break into the industry and learn? What do you think is the like you said, organized is something that you really focused on, but is there sort of a singular trait that you're like, this is really important? Like, is it curiosity, organization? Is it being a yes man? Like, what do you feel like is the singular trait that's important when you're first trying to sort of break through and learn?
I think like back then, yeah, I mean, in Mexico, I think like um what is the word? Like positions, you know, I was very respectful
Mhm.
of like, oh, this is a DP, this is a cam up, and like knowing my place in terms of like this is what I'm being paid to do. So I was like already doing that. But I also think what you mentioned, like being young and just like a bit like fearless in that sense, like you're not very aware of everything. So just like taking advantage of like if you're doing good enough like your job, you can probably like people want to help you and people
Mhm.
so just like taking that and like the opportunity, if the opportunity comes, like, hey, you wanna come up while he takes a break, like, of course, and like take it seriously, but also knowing that like practice gets you better. Like you're not gonna be the best right away.
Right. Yeah. And that's hard to accept sometimes. Like, I'm such a perfectionist. It's hard to like, if I don't know, especially on a stage like that, when I think about them giving you a chance to op and there's like a lot of other people in the room, but just being willing to put yourself out there and learn like is the only way. And I think that's a super cool story. So you're in Los Angeles now, but you were born in Mexico City, right? So born and raised there. I mean, how did that particular upbringing and that environment shape your perspective as a filmmaker?
I think I can think of two ways. One is like problem solving. I think I mean, I'm saying like back then because I do feel it's being like there's a change 10 years ago to now, but like there weren't as many productions and as many resources. So you gotta be very like problem solving. Like, okay, we may don't have this equipment or this many crew. So like how are we gonna make it work? I feel like that's what I saw from like the people I work with, and something I like bring on. And also just working around really harsh sunlight. Because like in
Oh,
Mexico City,
that's
there's like
actually so true.
yeah, the sun is very high up for like most of the day. Like it's like pretty early morning light for an hour, and then it's like horrible light, and then it's like nice for an hour. So I think that's something I see like working in other places, like, oh, sunlight, it isn't as I mean, at least you go again close to equator. But yeah, we work a lot with what we have, and you just gotta make it work. So I think that's something that sometimes I feel spoiled in other places.
Yeah, sure. When you see that, yes. But I think that's so critical because I just think it's an invaluable thing to learn and a trait to have is to work with very little. And then when you get a lot, you can, shoot for the moon. But ultimately, being able to make it work, I think, is an invaluable trait and really important as we see budgets and schedules and things, and we know it unscripted, like, it's pretty quick and unexpected, and so I think that resourcefulness, I'm sure, comes in handy, and like I said, reality shows can be super unscripted at times. You start off with Top Chef Mexico, but what continues to attract you in this particular space? Like, why is reality and unscripted really appealing to you?
Hmm. I think something I like a lot, I would say, is the environment, like the people who work on unscripted. They all are very, to me, very adventurous. They all like usually come from different parts of the world, and then they all travel to like go certain place and shoot this project. So I think that yeah, just it's a little bit more, not always, but usually more relaxed in terms of like probably scripted sometimes. In terms of like the subject matter usually is like fun, outdoors at the beach. People want to get to know each other like in the show. So I think it does just the vibe usually.
Yeah, there's a little more of a laid back nature to it a bit.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice. You've worked on other so when you did German Bachelor, was that in Germany, like the Real Housewives of Melbourne? So, what differences do you see, like maybe cultural differences and sort of shows filmed in the US versus in, down under or in Germany with those crews? Like what differences did you observe?
Mm. I mean, I think, well, could say, I mean, the German Bachelor, I would say it was very interesting that there was like beers in the craft because it was so
Wait, that
hot.
is funny.
But
That's
I
right.
thought it was hilarious. I mean, honestly, I feel like there's not like a recipe, but we all are trying to tell the story of like, if it's a dating, if it's like this group of women, I think actually find more similarities than difference. I find it like you just go with the same purpose, like trying to do a good job, getting the maybe yeah, the hours can be different. For the German one, I think it was 10 hours max compared to
Mm,
here, which it's 12.
mhm.
Um yeah, maybe just that, but in terms of, like, the way we work, I would say it's very similar.
I love that. I think I mean, ultimately, the hierarchy of a film set and how you approach it is the same across cultures. Like, everyone
Yeah.
has their job, everyone knows what the brief is, and there's something really cool and beautiful about that, even if the difference is that there's beer and crafty, that's amazing. You've worked on, like, big formatted competition shows, dating shows, and you're getting your, sort of orders from the top down when you're opping specifically. But what do you feel like sort of defines the way you creatively approach these shows in reality specifically?
I think there's opportunity, especially if there's not, like, something urgent happening where because then you just gotta like go and try to capture it. But I think every time I see reality TV be more elevated, like there's more style into it. And I think I mean, you have a camera, you have a lens, you can always be creative with that. Meaning how you're framing it. If I think I also been lucky to work with directors and DPs who like allow you to do that. German, the one from Are You My First? He's amazing and he'll like really encourage you to like go creative with framing. If you're seeing something like a foreground that's beautiful, you can like be more abstract and like I think it also comes to like the creative team allowing you to do that.
Well, that's nice, especially for a first series right off the bat where they could really micromanage the
Yeah.
look and feel and the creative. It's so nice to be given some freedom and liberty and trust to go with your gut and experiment a little and
Yeah.
get to follow that sort of creativity. But let's dive in for sure into Are You My First? Like I said, this is the I'm sure this was an absolute trip to be a part of. This is first season, it's ABC, it's the Virgin Dating show. I was just catching up on it a little bit, and I'm not gonna lie, where the even some of the interviews were so I was like my jaw kind of dropped at how open everyone was about things. So it's a fresh format. How did you get involved with the show? Is it someone you'd worked with previously who gave you a call?
Yeah. German Abarca, he's an amazing director. He's done a bunch of reality shows and other stuff. I worked with him in Surreal Life.
Oh yeah.
Did like a season. And yeah, he just passed my name along for this one. So they reached out. They were looking also like a mix of different nationalities. So like it also worked out. Like there were
Oh, I
people
love
from
that.
Spain, Panama. I mean, technically, I mean, I came from the US, but I'm from Mexico. So like it just worked out.
I love that. How do the show, there's dating moments, there's a lot of vulnerability of talking about bodies and
Yeah.
sex and like all of the above. So, how did you sort of go about capturing this? Like, what was your particular goal? Whether it was, and I don't know if you were like, if you specifically did interviews or more out in the field, like if you want to talk more, about specifically sort of where you were in the production, I'd love to hear more too.
Yeah. It was a mix because we all have we're divided in schedules, right? Some start like
Mm.
really early on and like yeah, we go like that. So sometimes I would be in the interview, sometimes I'll be with them on the dates or on the house and the villa. And yeah, I actually think it is a strength to be a female in this case. I do think, and even directors, I think they sense it, and that's why they sometimes send us for certain things. Especially with like if women want to have like a vulnerable talk, if they're, think we are just. I mean, obviously, it's not about like a female trait. Male can also be there, but I think sometimes they feel more comfortable with a female thing around them and listening to them. So I actually think this goes both ways for scripted and unscripted. Like you are the person who are like closest to them. Either they're performing like a script or like the real lives. To just like have a lot of respect for them and allowing them to be themselves.
I was going to ask if you felt like it was an advantage because, again, when I'm looking at the content of the show, dating is vulnerable anyway, but this specifically is getting into like, I mean, people are talking about health conditions like
Yeah.
trauma. There's a whole wealth of reasons why at this particular point in their life they are still a virgin. And that's a lot to like talk about. So how do you what is sort of a rule for yourself when you're on set, you're in close proximity with people, like just making them feel comfortable and making sure that the environment feels safe?
Yeah, I think I mean, and I remember this from the first reality, like it was like, oh, you're not allowed to like talk to the contestant or like
Right.
establish relationships because like you gotta be like a ghost.
Right. You have to
And
be
I
a robot.
yeah, like don't because they're also like they're like not seeing their families, not talking on the phone
Sure,
usually.
sure.
So they're looking for connection outside too of their
Right, right, right.
contestants. But I think it is like a human thing. Like even though I'm not their friend, I think just n- it's just like an energy thing. Like they know you're there to like make them look good, and you're not there to judge. You're just there to like capture what's going on. And I think they're like on an understanding, like unspoken. It's not like we said like,
Mhm.
"Hey, I got." But I think there is a certain like
I think among women there
agreement.
absolutely is. I
Yeah,
mean, I mean there really is. There's an unspoken kinship, I think,
yeah,
and safety there. And I think that's really important. And I'm really glad that, whoever was the director understood the need for
Yeah.
that, and it's it's really, really great thing to be cognizant of, again, especially as we have these contestants being, like, pretty vulnerable. Like, yes, they
Yeah.
signed up for it, but, like, that doesn't mean we shouldn't provide them with, like, the safety that they need
Yeah.
to talk about things that, like, are super relatable and everyone are going through. You know, you talked early on about how growing up in Mexico City, really taught you how to work with direct sunlight. So that's, like, a very specific challenge there. What were some you shot in Costa Rica for this series. Were there any unique visual or technical challenges that you guys had to overcome just based, because of the content, the location? What was unique to this series specifically?
In this one, I think we had the rain sometimes come our way.
Oh.
It was, like, really humid. I remember with, like, it was really fun, but sometimes I'm like, "Oh, mosquitoes were crazy," and, like, it was my hair was, like, this big. It was really humid, and sometimes we had to stop because the rain would be so intense that it wasn't safe, and we had an amazing AD, gaffer. They will always, like, producers prioritize our safety and the contestants. And because we were shooting like near pool, near the ocean, like if it's raining and lightning was getting intense, we had to stop. But most of the crew was we were living like not in the same villa, but we it was a walking distance thing. So we could
Mhm,
just go
mhm.
to our rooms and like be safe from rain and then like go back to work. So I think that was a challenge, just like work around weather.
Oh, the weather. It makes
Yeah.
sense in sort of a tropical location for sure. So, how were there any very specific creative choices, framing, lenses, movement that, the director had a vision for that differentiated this from other dating series or that at least felt bespoke to this particular series?
Yeah, we also had Pasha. He was the VP on this project. He made this really cool visual book. Like he sent us why he was envisioning for it, and I think he actually used AI reference so he could like describe the scenario. So it wasn't like from other shows. He
Mhm.
really invested on what was he was hoping for. And I think he got some great ideas. We were trying to do like French overs, like not be so straight on. If there
Mhm.
was opportunity for the conversation. So like being far away, all the ways to meet. So we have this feeling of like more intimate and like give them space
This is the
to
second time
be.
I've heard French overs this week. This is so funny. I don't know. I am like, who was I just talking to who said that they had a DP who loves French overs? That's really funny. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. So continue. You guys had a really great visual reference for this show because I get that you don't want to be too derivative of ABC because like you still have to fit in the ABC dating universe that has The Bachelor, Bachelorette,
Yeah.
Golden Bachelor, BIP. So you still have to live in that universe while also differentiating yourself too.
Yeah. And I also think like audience, they're more there for the content than for the visuals, I feel. But I do think like every time there's more elevated, like reality TV. So I think when there's opportunity, like the interview rooms, if they can like play with lighting and colors, I think those are yeah, like opportunities to have a look or do something different. But yeah, as an up, I would say just sometimes, yeah, trying to be like also bring storytelling elements. Like if they're like each other, but they're sitting in different corners, then like maybe do a wide shot that shows where they are in the room and like who's feeling what. I think, yeah, those are some elements.
Oh, I love it. Did you have any kind of wild, unexpected moments on set where you were like, "Oh my gosh, we gotta go get this"? So what was kind of, what were some of the most unexpected
Yeah.
things that kind of happened?
I think honestly, hearing their conversations, I don't know, I learned a bunch from them.
Yeah.
Like I think
Yes.
they all had such different stories, as you said, like why they're still virgins. So I think it was very interesting because it was just like, okay, they're talking. Sometimes you just sit there with them and like they're sitting down. They're like, okay, I'm just gonna like sit and like record this. But then I'll be like I don't know, some would talk about religion, some would talk about, like, what was their idea of this happening, and I mean, I was just like, "Oh, wow," like, there's such different ways of thinking about this subject.
Mhm.
Especially they were all from the US, so it wasn't like, oh, all around the world. Like, in this same graffiti space, I don't know how to say it,
Yeah,
there's, like,
yeah.
so many diverse, way
Yes.
of thinking. So that was very
Well, it's
interesting.
I agree. I think that the way that the show dives into attitudes about virginity, sex, dating, I do think it's really interesting because culturally the US has a very different what tends to be a puritanical perspective on these things. And
Mhm.
so the way that this was a dating show but also examined those things I think was really interesting. So I could absolutely believe that like the most unexpected thing here was just hearing people because even when I was watching an interview just now, I was like, oh, she said that. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Like I've never heard someone be that vulnerable about that particular thing on camera ever. And I think it was so I'm sure there was a lot of like staying
Yeah.
composed and just like listening, which is really, really cool and super, super necessary. Was there a moment from this show specifically that just stands out to you as like a perfect example of why you love your job? Like a day on set or a moment where you're like, ugh, this is why I love this.
Yeah, I think maybe 2. One of the days I was sent to do, like, B-roll, which was really cool. I think was Danny her name. She was, like, a local who, like, drove us to, like, these waterfalls and, like, these hidden, like, little beach, and I don't know, it was beautiful. Just like, "Oh my god, I get to, like, travel and see these beautiful places," and you usually go with like sound or an AC, so you're like, okay, let's take this and stop, get a lunch. I don't know. I just remember that day being like, oh, this was so fun, and I'm getting paid to do this. And then maybe another day, I would say the end episode that was really fun. We were like in the hotel with them shooting while they were getting ready for their final. So they were all like really nervous. I mean, I guess I can spoil, but I was with, oh, I forgot her name, but she's the one who like won. And I
Okay.
was with that
Yep.
couple and they were very cute. Like you could see also their progress from like when they entered the show to like that moment and how excited they were to be together. And like, I don't know, I feel like that was really, really cool to shoot and witness and be with them. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I haven't finished the series yet, but it's my understanding that no one loses it, right? Like I literally was like, wait a second. You're telling me no one loses it? Like, I was actually
Yeah.
shocked because I kind of thought that was like, I was like, "We have Too Hot to Handle, and then we have this and no" like, so I was shocked that
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
wasn't a format beat, to be honest.
I know. On the spectrum, right? Of like from
Yeah,
one show to the other, it's like, oh my God, it's so different.
yeah. But well, that's cool. I love that that felt rewarding for you just to, like, see, I don't know, personal growth and, like, I feel like that
Yeah.
is something that is really cool, getting a front row seat to that for sure.
Oh.
Um, okay, I have some like fun first questions for you in honor of Are You My First? What was the first camera you ever picked up?
Ooh. Ugh, I'm like, well, my dad had a film camera, so I would say
Cool.
probably like that one. I like to play with that one. But like for actually reality show, I think it was like a Sony F7 or something like that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
But dad's film camera. I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know like I don't know. How old are you?
I'm 33.
Okay, we're like the same age. But like having a camera growing up was not a thing. It seems like it's so normal now, but like your dad having a film camera is really cool because that was
Yeah.
like, not many people did, and so how cool to just kind of have that
Yeah,
experience
and I
early
would I
on.
would bring it to school and take pictures, so I was like the
Wait, I
girl
love
that takes
that.
pictures.
That's cool, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
First thing first thing you crave after a long shoot?
Usually, honestly, sugar stuff.
Yes.
Like, either, like, there's, like, these yogurt oh my god, I say the brand, but it's, like, so sugary, I'm like, "Oh, I love this."
Is it like the
Um,
yogurt stick?
yeah, I mean, no,
Yeah.
it comes, like, in this little, I don't know the name, but it's like lemon pie something, which is I
Mm.
love. I love eating that when I go.
So a sweet treat. You need a sweet treat at the
Yeah,
end of a long day. Okay, I love that. I think we already know the answer to this question. The first TV show you ever worked on, Top Chef Mexico, or was
yeah.
there something before that?
Nope, that was the first.
Okay, okay. Uh, your first big challenge on set, and how did you handle it?
Ooh. I actually think I was in Top Chef Mexico. We had the cameras that had like two slots for the cards, and I formatted one that had a clip on it. And because I thought it wasn't, and I was like, I just sweat cold. I was like, oh my God, I did this. So I had to like tell the DP. And it was like really nerve wracking because I was like, oh my God, I hope I didn't delete something like super important and whatever. And then he was just like, "Thank you for telling me. Let's see what was there." And it was just like a something really easy to reshoot, but it was like really nerve-wracking. I was like
Yeah.
sweating. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Those moments teach you a lot, though, like how to stay cool under pressure. They're big
Yeah.
lessons that you have to learn, and they happen to the best of us. What was the first reality show you watched, like growing up?
I think I used to watch Home Makeover, like those
Extreme
and
Home
home.
Makeover?
Yeah, Extreme Home Makeover.
Move that bus. Oh, yeah. That's a good one. That's an OG for sure. The first mentor who really shaped your career.
Cool. His name is Juan Jose Sarabia. He's the VP from Top Chef Mexico, but
Amazing.
also we work on other. He does other like incredible stuff, and so yes, I'm really thankful to him. Yeah, he taught me a lot.
Wonderful. First piece of advice you'd give to someone just starting out. And I want to say, I'm going to caveat this actually. First piece of advice you'd give to a woman starting out in the
Mm.
camera department.
I would say go for it. I f- I hope now it's slightly better than 10, 15 years ago. But still, like if anyone makes you feel like this is not for you, they're wrong. You're right. Like do it and yeah, like keep your things organized, take it seriously, but also have fun. Like at the end that's why we do this. I feel like there's no other reason to like go in such a crazy environment. So hopefully they're also enjoying what they're doing.
Love that. Okay. And the last question, what was your first pinch me career moment?
I mean it's cheesy, but I do think I still sometimes like wake up here in LA and I'm like, wow, I work in the industry. Wow. Like I don't know. I feel
No,
like
yeah. No, listen,
I
it
for
is no small feat. It is a tough industry. Go like working from job to job, working as a contractor in an industry that right now is really fraught
yeah.
and really unpredictable. The fact that you live in the epicenter of entertainment and you're thriving and you have a really, really full IMDb page of not just unscripted,
Thank
but you
you.
have a ton of like we didn't even touch on the short films and the awards and like the things you've done as a DP. It is a huge accomplishment. That is absolutely pinch me
Thank
worthy.
you. Thank you. Yeah, I think that still happens. Like when I drive and I see like the Warner Brothers water tank, I'm like, I'm here.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. What is there a show that you'd love to work on or like a genre that you'd love to sort of like dip your toes into?
I mean, right now I'm enjoying scripted stuff, but related to unscripted, I think I would love to once be in a Kardashian show just to see.
Oh yeah. Come on.
Just to yeah,
Of course.
just for the ghost.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I will manifest that for you really, really hard. Well, Jessica,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much for coming on. It was a joy to chat with you. Super proud of you. Your work speaks for itself. Really cool to see how you've grown in the past decade in the industry, taking advantage of having mentors, being curious, putting yourself out there. Super inspiring and can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you. It was lovely. Thank you
Thanks.
for the interview.
Thank you so much for listening. Loved connecting with Jessica and just really cool to even hear when she was talking about, oh, I wake up in LA and I can't believe I'm still here. It's really, I don't know, it's really cool and refreshing to hear that kind of gratitude and just like someone who is excited and happy to work in the industry they're working in and to be living out that dream. I think it's really cool and reminds me to be grateful. So that's your reminder on this Friday. Thanks so much for listening again. Don't forget, like, subscribe, rate, review, all the things, share it. And don't forget our Monday mini-sode with Emily Wilson and all the latest unscripted news is going to drop Monday. And then we'll see you for another full episode of the Unscripted Files next Friday.